Hi, this is Rob from DMBAlmanac.com with This Week in Dave Matthews Band History. On July 23rd, 2021, DMB played their first post-pandemic show in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was the first full band show since two one-offs in February of 2020, and they chose to open with fan favorite number 41 as a welcome back. It was also notable for a few firsts: first Walk Around the Moon, first full band Ocean and the Butterfly, and the first full band Suite in about a decade, complete with a new jazzy jam. Other memorable highlights were Branford Marsalis guesting on Lover and What Would You Say, a choked up Dave barely, or not, making it through Singing in the Windows, and the first complete Gray Street since 2002. You can find all the tour openers and check in on current tour set lists at dmbalmanac.com, where you can see that the unique opener streak is now at 17 shows, and we never stop looking for information on older shows. Follow us on Facebook and Threads to get daily updates with everything that happened that day in the band's history.
Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that's been making music for over 30 years. If this is your very first time to listen to this episode, what a great time to come in, because this is the first episode of season 8. I'm so excited to have had this many people come forward to tell their journey with Dave Matthews Band. It's all thanks to you and the people that are listening to this, and the people that shared this, and the people who will be on the show in the future, because I want you to come on my show. Come on my show. I need you. Yeah, so we're going into season 8 with this show, which is very exciting. So it's almost the end of July. We're going into August, which means, yes, the tour is on. It's coming to an end. It's not over. We've got some big dates coming up, and David is going to talk about those here in a little bit. David, I'm not talking about David Matthews. I'm talking about the guest that is on my show, which is not Dave Matthews. And you know what? Listen to this, guys. This podcast is not a podcast that Dave Matthews should be on, because that's weird. Because the show is about the fans. I guess he could be a fan of like himself. Cool. Or whatever, the whole band. But that's just not the angle I'm going for. So every episode is a fan of Dave Matthews Band coming on the show to talk about, why do they like this music? How long have they liked this music? What is it about this music that keeps us coming back for more? Okay, so we have a guest. David, tell us. Well, we know who you are. David. Do you go by Dave?
Either or. I have so many names. People call me. They call me Dave. They call me Smiley. They call me David. They'll call me Happy.
Okay.
So whatever.
Well, let's take it all back that I even said your name. Everybody knows, but introduce yourself the way you would introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where in the world are you, and tell us something cool about you outside of the music.
Cool. Well, I'm Dave. I'm a longtime fan. I'm from Kingston, New York. I've been listening to since 2001. What I gotta say, something really cool is I do my own photography business on the side.
No way.
And one of the reasons I started getting into concert photography was Rodrigo of Dave Matthews Band's photographer. I started getting photography, doing concert photography, because I like watching his photography style.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
So
and
good.
it was a great podcast, by the way. I must say, it was amazing to listen to about his podcast. I was blown away. I was like, I had to listen to 3 or 4 times just before I was like, all right, this is enough.
So what he's talking about is, I actually had Rodrigo Simas, who is one of the Dave Matthews Band photographers, and he was on the show last season, season 7. So definitely check it out. The reason why he was on the show Like I said, I'm not trying to get the band on the show. It's not about that. But he was a fan of Dave Matthews Band in Brazil for a long time.
Before
All this stuff. And now he's on the payroll, baby. A fan on the payroll. I love that story. Okay, so do you got any pets?
No pets. No pets. I'm living by myself. Just bought my first house. And all my friends hate when they come over because my entire house is plastered wall to wall with Dave Matthews Band posters.
No way. Who? What was that?
Who? They asked why.
Who?
And they were like, you've been to every single of these shows? I was like, yes, I have been.
Do they get it? And, maybe we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump.
They don't understand my passion, my love for going to a show and just making friends with random people.
I want you to know that that's very normal. You know that that's normal to not have like everybody in your hometown cheering for you going, go to that next Dave show. Like that's not normal. In my city, in your city, sounds like.
I'm a very small town, and once they find out I go to the show, it's all over the news. And even my parents sent me a text and said, I thought you were hanging out with friends on Friday night, and we find out Friday you were at Saratoga Performing Arts Center for Dave. I was like, how the heck did you know? You were tagged in Facebook on this and that. And when somebody saw it and said, hey, did you see Dave was up in Saratoga? And my mom sends me a text. She goes, I thought you had no money for Saratoga. What are you doing? I was like, it's a long story. I'll talk to you when I see you on vacation.
Money comes and goes. It comes and goes, right? And also, you weren't lying. You said, I'm going to hang out with friends. You and me and all our friends, right? We're just right there.
Exactly. And it was actually nice because it was one of my high school friends. I was a freshman. He was a senior. We became friends in high school. Did not know we liked Dave Matthews Band. And we saw each other's shows and stuff like that periodically, like the last 3 or 4 years, Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. It wasn't until... a little story. It wasn't until Mohican Sun last year when his wife was walking on top of the escalator to the Uber and Lyft parked up there and goes, isn't that your friend from Kingston? And he said, yeah, what's he doing here? And he knew I was going to show. And we started talking, and I got her number and his number, and we started texting throughout the winter. And we weren't sure what shows we were going to go to together. We were planning to go to a show together. And they texted me like a month ago, said, hey, we're going to SPAC. What's your plan for SPAC? I said, I don't really have plans. I was just going to go solo, sit on the lawn by myself, have a grand old time, blah, blah, blah. This is that. And we literally didn't realize they lived 5 minutes from me. So we all rode up together and I had the greatest time car ride up and back. And I never got to hang out with just him since high school. And we had like the greatest conversations, tailgating and just like, not rushing to get posters or anything else like that. I didn't care about it that I didn't get a poster. I still get a poster because long story short, one of my friends had an extra, so he sold me his extra poster.
Boom.
Don't worry about that. I didn't, because usually with going to different groups, they're usually more the poster people, so they're rushing to get in line to the posters. And with this set of friends, I felt really cool and like relaxed. I was like, we didn't even realize it was 6:30, 7 o'clock before we had to start packing up to go inside. That's how we felt. We were like, whoa, it's 6:30. We should start packing up and like maybe start walking in and stuff. And they had seats, so they got me inside a little bit with one of their tickets. And so, long story short, I got to stand and talk to him during the whole show, and we never got to do that since high school. So and when he sent me a really nice long text, like, dude, that was so cool. We got to hang out. We got to hang out more now that we never really know each other personally. Like,
awesome.
Because we only sat next to each other during lunch period in high school. That was the only time we really talked to each other. Was like, hey, I was in the same lunch crowd as him, and he was in the same lunch crowd as me. So we only got to talk to them then, and that was about it. And then it wasn't until SPAC of this year. So SPAC for this year was a special show for me because of this one show. And now, like next weekend, they invited me up to their condo up in Hunter, New York, to spend the weekend, and which I can't do because I'm hopefully going either to Fish or Camden. I haven't decided.
Decisions.
Because I know Fish is in Saratoga next weekend, and I'm like, I really want to see Fish, but it's Camden.
But then there's Dave.
Well, Camden also I have no place to stay in SPAC. I'm only in like an hour and 20-minute drive, so I can drive myself back and stay home at night.
Awesome.
So so that's on the plus side. That's for me Saratoga wise, but
for sure.
He goes, yeah, dude. He texted me a long time. He goes, what's our next show? We gotta go more concerts together, even if it's not Dave. Let's go to another cool concert together. I like hanging out with you at a concert. I was like, all right, we'll find concerts. So like we're like now arranging like what concerts and stuff and like things like that. And So it was really cool.
That's super cool. I mean, you just never know when you're going to run into a past buddy, and then all of a sudden they're your Dave buddy. Not
No,
it
it
was
was
my
like
high school friend.
it was funny because we were telling the story to one of the people next to us at the car. One of the cars next to us, we were like, "Yeah, it all started back in Mohegan Sun last year, the fall tour of her going. Isn't that your friend from Kingston, New York? I think I see him up on top of the escalator." I'm going, "Yeah, whatever. All right, here's my number. Here's your number. Text me. We'll hang out one of these days and stuff like that." And it turns out we went to SPAC. We were going to go to Bethel together, but they ended up having to do something, so they sold their tickets. And then they were going to go to SPAC, and we were going to meet up. I was like, "What's your address? Where are you in Kingston?" And we're like, "All right, this is my address." I'm like, literally, and I don't drink. When I go to Dave shows, I like to pay attention. Yeah. So I was like, "Hey, I'm passing your house to get on the highway to go up to Saratoga. Do you guys want to ride with me? Instead of taking your own car and we're meeting up there and trying to find each other?" I was like, "This would be easier." That's a great idea. Yeah, why not? And so that's its whole start. And now she's like, any Dave show that happens during the summertime that we can tailgate like this, we're going to make 1 or 2 shows happen like this a year.
Yes. Oh, this is awesome. And this is 2025. You got years more to make some more memories. But let's talk about your past memories first. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everyone.
All right.
Take us all back to the minute that you first heard of Dave Matthews Band.
What's up, y'all? This is David with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, also known as the DMTB, and I'm here to tell you about our 2025 Sun's Embrace Summer Tour, which is happening now up and down the East Coast. If you've never heard of us, we're a tribute to DMB focusing on the old original style of the music, featuring a violin, saxophone, sometimes some keyboards, and sticking to those 90s, early 2000s arrangements of the songs to help transport the listener back to a nostalgic time of tape trading and all kinds of good stuff when Dave was emerging out of Charlottesville in the early 90s. So if that sounds like your vibe, we hope to see you at one of our shows, and you can check out our tour dates at thedmtb.com/tour or by checking out our socials by searching The DMTB. We'll see you on the road.
First moment I heard of Dave Matthews was actually my friend Bentley. It was 2001. We're about the same, me and him about the same age. And, you know, he's like, "Oh, did you ever hear about this band, Dave Matthews?" I'm like, "I don't know who this is." I was like, "All right, cool, yeah, it sounds really cool." He was like, "Oh, they're playing at Giant Stadium." It was back in 2001. And I was like, and Mary J. Blige was opening up for them.
Wow.
And he goes, "Oh, yeah, we're going to buy tickets. They're playing at Giant Stadium. You want to come down with us?" I was like, "All right, I'll check it out. It sounds pretty cool. It sounds really, you know, something fun to do with you guys. I don't hang out with you as much as, you know, something cool."
Yeah.
Ever since I left that show and going, holy moly, is this a fun experience or what? I was blown away. July 11th, 2001 was my first show. It was the day after the hailstorm at Giant Stadium.
Well, at least it wasn't the day of.
And I found out one of my other friends went to the hailstorm and he was like, we were sopping wet the entire car ride home and he drove back the night before. And I go, because I was right around when they did the Everyday album, and I was like,
right,
holy moly, this show was awesome. Like, just the music, the vibe, and everything. I was really feeling it. He goes, yeah, ever since then, I've been hooked. And then I just started going to show after show after show. And like, here I am, 2025. I'm going to so many shows. I lost count after so long. But it was just been like, him introducing me. He's like, and I would listen from like 2001 to about 2000. I was just listening to music, whatever. I never really went to a show, but I was like, all right, let's go back to a show. He's like, they're playing at Saratoga, which is an hour and a half. We're going to go. I'm going to get tickets. Do you want to come? I'm going to get us seats.
Yes.
All right, sure, I'll go. You know, it was a good time the first time. I'll go. Went the second time. Haven't looked back and never missed a Saratoga show since about 2009.
Wow.
Have not missed a Saratoga show since 2009.
That's amazing.
It's just been like every year I look forward to like the Saratoga weekend of like going to Saratoga. And here we are coming back from Saratoga this weekend, which was amazing.
So we're going to talk more about that, but I want to jump back again. So you mentioned one of the things that you liked about your first show was the vibe. So if you knew that someone was listening to this podcast for the very first time and they have minimal knowledge of Dave Matthews Band, how would you describe the vibe? Like, what is the vibe?
It's a very energetic, very friendly crowd. People will just come up and talk to you like out of the blue. Hey, is this your first show? No. What number show is this for you? What's your home venue? Da, da, da. And like just start chatting and becoming like your friend. And this is one of the reasons I became best friends with one of my friends who I go to every single show with. Was from back in 2002 or 2003. Actually, it was 2001. Sorry, back in Connecticut when they first started doing right after COVID at the Mohegan Sun shows.
Oh, yeah.
So I met my best friend Rebecca at these shows. It turns out I'll make sure she'll hear this. But we met and we've been best friends ever since. And we go to all the shows together. Like every time tour is announced, what shows are we putting in for? Who's putting in for what show? This and that. I'm like, sure, let me see my schedule. My
hold on.
Let
me start
I gotta
the
check my
spreadsheet.
photography and wedding schedule. Make sure they align with everything because I have to take care of my clients first before I, worry about Dave shows and stuff like that. If they works out. So we met at Mohegan Sun back in 2001. First night we went to show. They were staying at the same hotel. They walked in. Hey, how are you going? You go to the same hotel? Yeah, I'm going to the show. I'll see you later. Whatever. I ran into them at the bar that everyone was hanging out at there, and I was like, hey, you're at the Comfort Inn there over the. I was like, yeah, how are you? We went to the show. Good. Had a great show. Never saw them again. Next morning, I wake up and I'm going down to Continental. I'm by myself the entire weekend. This was a birthday present to myself. Like I just coming out of COVID, I was like, I need something fun to do.
Yes.
I don't even care if I have to wear a mask at the show. I don't care. I want to treat myself. It was because during COVID I turned 40, so like that was a big deal for me. I needed something big. I was supposed to go to Epcot for my 40th and do drinking around the world, which never happened because COVID hit. Blah blah blah. And I was like, all right. So I went by myself. So I'm going to Continental Breakfast. I'm like, all right, let me figure out what I want to do for the day. I know the show's not till 4:30, 5 o'clock when people are meeting up. Let me see what I can do. Went to Continental Breakfast. Who's sitting right next to me? My friend Becca and her friend Courtney, who I became friends with. Me and her friend Courtney started talking about photography because we're both photographers. And then she chimed in. We started talking about the show and stuff. And ever since then, we've been best friends. Like her kids love me, and like her son Jacob always asks when I'm coming next to see them. So so we met and we've been going to every show. She got me into the posters more. I wasn't really a poster guy before her.
It's like, thank you. And God, why did you do that?
Yeah, why? What happened? I'm spending $60. Now I have to start make sure I have $60 every time I go to a show.
Yeah,
but so that Ant's poster from Mohegan Sun is actually we both got it, and it's our special poster because that was the first show we went as two best friends and have never looked back since.
That's awesome. Well, she's going to have to be on this show and tell the reverse story of that.
Yeah, we're going to have to get her. I want to get her.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been friends for almost 5 years. Like, she always makes sure to invite me for Christmas and Easter, come down and hang out with them for the holidays.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, so it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
So let's talk a little bit more about SPAC. And of course, if someone's listening to this, and even if they're fans of Dave Matthews Band, there are so many venues, right? There's they play all over the world. So SPAC is Saratoga Performing Arts Center in Saratoga Springs, New York. Did I get all that right?
You got that correct.
I've only been one time, but that's very far for a lot of us. And so it is a beautiful, one time I described it as, and this is like, I don't know, I can't explain to you why my brain works the way it does, but this is what I said. This is what I described SPAC. I was like, do you remember the movie Mary Poppins?
Yes.
You remember when they jump into the painting and there's like carousels and parks and there's like this beautiful place? That is SPAC.
It's just, I mean, it's not even going to the shows of SPAC. It's the Saturday during SPAC when you're walking around town. Everyone is wearing a Dave t-shirt, and it doesn't matter where you are in Saratoga or walking around the main street of downtown Saratoga. They'll stop you and say, hey, what did you think of that show last night? Are you going to tonight's show? And it's just like, I'll drive the hour and 20 minutes back and forth each day. It's only, and save myself a couple
Yeah,
bucks.
that's not terrible. That's not terrible. Yeah, but it's the cutest little city. I really loved it. I got some time walking up and down the streets. Just a lovely little city. I love it, but and it's one of the venues that if you ask a seasoned Dave fan, like, what are the meccas? Tell me where you got to go. David, what would you think people would say?
Saratoga Performing Arts Center.
Where else, you think?
The Gorge.
Yep.
And
Oh, you didn't know there was a test, did you? You were like, oh, shit,
and
I didn't
Deer
know.
Creek. Deer Creek. I know Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, yep.
Is a big weekend.
Oh, let me be more specific. Saratoga, we talked about where that was. What did we say next? The Gorge. The Gorge is like 2.5
3 hours. 3 hours
northeast of Seattle, in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so that's where that one is.
I've heard good things, and I really want to go. Another one I've heard, another thing to go is Dave and Tim in Cancun every winter is a mecca to go to if you ever get the chance to go to that.
It is
because
completely
it's just
different.
All fans and nothing but true hard fans.
It's Dave Camp. Actually, I called it more of a Dave conference because there's like breakout sessions.
Yeah, and I hear only good things on it from people like this. Oh, you need to go once.
Deer Creek is in Indiana, in a small town called Noblesville, Indiana. I believe we definitely have to add West Palm Beach, which of course is in a city called West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Big surprise there. That's in Florida. What are we missing? We're missing some things.
I don't know. We had SPAC, which is in Saratoga.
Alpine,
yes. Alpine.
Yes.
Organic weekend. That's another. That weekend is like Saratoga weekend, I hear.
It's amazing.
I've never.
But completely different because it's in Wisconsin. And in the summer, so it's at a ski resort. So like there's all this ski stuff, but like it's green and luscious and beautiful. So it's just really cool.
That's what I hear.
Vibes,
Yeah,
but it's amazing.
Well, one of these years I'll make it
amazing.
One of these.
But also, so I realize because we're all in the same game, it costs money to do this. And it's really hard some days to find the extra money to go because like we got to make money to pay the bills first, and then it's like extra money that we use for
and then any family vacations you want to take with your family or friends or do different things.
I know you can't forget about your family, like that's important.
Yeah.
But here's what I also like have in the back of my head while I'm doing all of this. How many more years do we have?
We don't have very many more years because Dave's getting up there in age, so he's like,
we don't have long.
And after the Hall of Fame induction, which was great, I don't know if you went.
Yes. I did.
I wanted to go, but I was very upset I couldn't go. I heard a lot of fans were there, and it was a good time meeting different fans.
Yeah.
I had just purchased my house, so that was another issue. I just purchased my house literally 2 months before he was going to induct the Hall. I was like, I can't do that. I had to go to the Hall. And then, so I was like, all right. And I treated myself last summer where I did like 7 shows back to back to back last summer.
How fun. How fun was that?
It was awesome. We started, he did that year in Connecticut. Then I had a couple weeks off, and then we went to SPAC, New Hampshire, and somewhere else. And then my buddy called me on that Saturday, said, I'm thinking of driving back and forth to Camden one day. Do you want to come down with me? I was like, if you're driving, I don't have to drive. Sure, I'll come down. Yeah, so we ended up driving, not getting home till like 5 o'clock the next morning from the show. Because it was, Camden's like 3.5, 4 hours from us.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And we left like 12 o'clock. We ended up picking his friend down in Nyack, which is like an hour down south of us. And then from his friend, we left. It was like still a 3-hour drive there. So we didn't get there till like 4 o'clock. We tailgated for a little bit. And then went in, enjoyed the show. So it was like my first time like to really enjoy the show of not being able to have my car down there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to pass out in the back seat. So I passed out in the back seat. And we didn't leave till like 1 o'clock when they started kicking you out. And we were like, okay. We stopped at a Wawa, got some food, drinks for the beverages for the way home. Next thing you know, we get to my friend's place at like 3:30 in Nyack. So like last summer, I went to like 7 shows. I was like unexpectedly going to 7 shows last summer, like out of the blue, and it was.
You'll never regret it.
No, I'm glad I went to all 7. But it was funny when I moved in July 4th. Those trips were happening all in July, and my neighbors were looking like, "You just moved in. You're in and out of town now." Like my new neighbors were like, where are you going so much that you're in and out? I'm like, this is my love for Dave Matthews Band.
What did they say?
They thought I was crazy.
No. Like, what did they actually say? Do you
I don't
remember?
remember.
Were they like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Do you work for
Yeah,
them?
they're like,
Like, why do you travel?
Why are you traveling to all these different venues for one concert? He plays a different set list. It's a different energy, different vibe. Each venue, different crowd, different energy level, different meeting people, different. Like I was trying to tell them stories. Like, interesting. Okay, well, you have fun with that.
So, what is it? I'm going to ask you the question, and I like this question because, of course, again, lyrics from The Space Between. And often, I can't tell you how many times when I say The Space Between that I accidentally say The Space Between Podcast. Have you heard that song, The Space Between Podcast? I mean, The Space Between?
Yeah.
I've just said it so many times. But so the lyrics are, it's the laughter that keeps us coming back for more. But what is it that keeps you coming back for more when we talk about Dave Matthews Band?
It's really the friends that I've made over the years, like the friends that I come back to and like to talk to and get to see once a year, whether it be at SPAC or whether I see it at Connecticut or like meeting my best friend and hanging out with her and bring her kids to their first show last year in New Hampshire, watching their expression and being like, they're at their first show. But one of my most special shows was probably Guilford Night 2 last year to watch
Why is that?
watch her sons, who are my best friends, who think I'm the light of their lives, to watch them at their first show ever and see them enjoy it and have fun and really like get into it and see what me and her mom go through every time we go to a show. And there's one time I snapped a photo and I thought it was cute. I framed it to her and gave it for Christmas. The four of them were all cuddled on the blanket, singing along, dancing, and I took a photo and put a little video clip and gave it to her, and the bawling she got out of that, to remember that, because that was our first show as a family together. Like, her daughter went to one show before, but it was the first official show that their family has gone to a show. Oh my God. I just remember just watching my buddy Jacob going, this is awesome, like dancing and singing, and, like him coming over to me and going, all right, what do we think? And he was, I think, every day, this is his favorite song. I got my song, because we took him to Bethel this year, too. And I just remember going, oh, that was awesome. That's great. Dave in Saratoga about 2 years ago, all right, there was a guy by the name of James, who I'm friends with on Facebook, who found me on Facebook and sent me a long, nice message. His daughter was crying. And I'm okay. I went up. My friend had actually grabbed an extra poster, so I bought the extra poster for him. And he's like, why are you buying an extra poster? You already have one. So the story was, I saw his daughter. His daughter was like a little upset that she didn't get a poster. So I went up to her. I said, what's her? I went up to the guy. I said, is she okay? She's like, no, she's a little upset. She loves the poster. And that was like the Wan Song Saxophone Girls poster that everyone loves from Saratoga. And so I go to my friend and said, you have an extra poster, right? He says, yeah, why? He says, I'll give you $60. He's like, you sure? You want to buy another one? I was like, yeah, give me your poster. I'll pay you tomorrow. Just give me your extra poster. Okay, here's my extra poster. I rolled it up, but I found an extra tube. I asked what her name was. I asked her all about her. I said, Kate, do you mind if I give her something? He goes, what do you have? And his face blew up. He's like, can I pay you for it? Can I not? And I'm like, no. Go to her. He said, really? Goes, yeah, it was. I was kind of sad about it. And gave her the biggest hug and started crying on me. Like, she's all excited. She went, her father sent me a message next day. She said, she couldn't stop talking about you, how nice it was to get the poster. She wants to hang it so fast. She can't wait to hang it. And this and that. I'm like, oh, that was cool. So that was like one of my most memorable stories of being a Dave fan and being able to help a fellow kid out.
Yes. Well, not only was that a great memory for you to have, but for her and her family. I mean, it's probably hanging, I envision it hanging on her wall. And every time she looks at it, she's like, I cannot ever forget this dude that just walked up to me and gave me a free poster.
Like 6, 7 years old at the time, and gave her a poster. She couldn't stop talking about it, and her father sent me a message, found me on Facebook the next day, and because he had sent the stories, there was about maybe 25, 30 stories on Facebook about me from that night.
Wow.
And I was like, holy, what happened? Like, this blew out out of proportion. I was just like, hey, here's a poster. How enjoy the show. And he's like, yeah, we got 30 messages. We found a poster tube. She couldn't stop. She literally fell asleep with the poster tube, she said, next to her. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Cool. And I could do that. He's like, yeah, awesome. You changed her love for Dave Matthews.
Look what you did. And that's again, that is what this community, as most of us call it, this community of fans that all love this band so much. It has been said over and over and over on this podcast that it's the music that hooks you, but it's
and
the
then
fans
grabs
that
you and
keep
then
you coming back for
back
more, you know? And yet, not that we're not loving the music too. We are loving every second of everything they do. But how cool to be there watching your most favorite thing with your most favorite people
Yeah.
that are so kind. I'm not saying everybody that's there is kind, because we've seen Mad Dave in Camden 2023.
I remember
Get
that.
the fuck out of here. You know, like,
You know, it's funny because one of my friends who I'm hopefully going to get to a show next year, she says she wants to come to a show and experience what I go through at a show. Hopefully they'll come with me. But
yes.
she can't afford the ticket prices as they're outrageous. And she says, how do you afford so many I was like, well, half the time I'm sitting on lawn, which I really don't like, but they're the cheapest seats.
Lawn is great.
Lawn is great.
Depending on where you're at.
Depending where you're at and what venue. What venue? Like Saratoga?
Do you ever get lawn in SPAC? No. I hated it. I couldn't see the stage.
I sit there because a lot of my friends sit there, and we always
sure.
sit of where to sit for Dave. We have our little three little sections that we love sitting, and there's no one around us usually. But if I can, I get inside seats. And
this year you were inside, right?
This year I actually got lucky and got inside last minute.
Yes, it's totally different when you're inside the building.
Because one of my friends knew somebody, had an extra free ticket. So she's like, oh, I'm going to move down to so-and-so section. Do you want to be near my husband, Craig, who's my friend, and use my extra ticket and sit next to him instead of sitting alone? I was like, if you don't mind. She's like, yeah, go right ahead. So I ended up using it. She came up every so often to check in and see how we were doing. That's how we started talking and reminiscing and really getting to know each other on a personal level about Dave and his music and what's our stories about Dave and things like that. And and how we now are like, okay, what's our next Dave show together? We're trying to figure out what the next Dave show we want to go to is together. We already made an agreement this morning. Funny story. We said next year, no matter what happens for Saratoga, all three of us are getting an Airbnb next year and going to stay up in Saratoga next year and go to both night shows together. And I said, deal. You got it. I don't care what it costs me next year. That's going to be a fun weekend for the three of us. Yes. Whatever, they were going to do it this year, but unfortunately she turned 50, so they went to Aruba this year for 50.
Oh, so she's suffering.
She's suffering. So she had to choose one or the other. And because they usually get they like to have some drinks and hang out, so they usually get a hotel in Saratoga, so they don't have to drive home. But since they know I didn't drink, they're like, yeah, well, we'll pay for your parking. You just drive with us. I was like, yeah, deal. I was like, you pay for my parking? I'm happy to drive back and forth. It doesn't affect me. I'll bring I'll bring whatever we need. We'll hang out. And we both look at the three of us when we were dropping off the cars. Next year, we're all staying up there so we can all celebrate and have a good time. I said, deal. I said, we're going to plan this out next year so bad. I said, I cannot wait till Saratoga next year. They'll see the faces when we come home Sunday morning, and you have to figure out, okay, how tired and we have to leave, what's going on. I don't care what time we leave Sunday morning because you have kids. If you have to leave early, we can leave 9, 10 o'clock. But we're all going up together and we're all coming back together.
Mm-hmm. That'll be so much fun. Something to look forward to. I mean, SPAC just got over, but you're already planning next year.
We're already planning next year's SPAC trip as long as the dates. Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you go to SPAC with Dave Matthews Band. I will say, you meet these people. I've met half my friends from Saratoga. Half my Dave community friends are all from Saratoga shows. Wow. There was one summer, a funny story. So we call it the Real World of Dave Matthews Band Weekend. Have you ever seen the TV show The Real World from MTV?
Yeah, for sure.
There was this girl online. She posted she's getting an Airbnb for 10 people, and all 10 people agreed to, which we've never met each other. All 10 of us never met each other. Okay, so we all agreed. We gave her money for this Airbnb. I get the Airbnb. I'm one of the first people to get to the Airbnb. I check us in. She's like, "Oh, just check us in. It's under this name." Okay. Turns out she lives 20 minutes from me, so we see each other every so often. But she goes, "Yeah, do you mind sharing?" I was like, "Whatever. I don't care as long as I have a bed. I just want a bed. I'll pay extra for the bed. Because we put air mattresses and stuff in the room."
Yeah.
And so we said opening night, Friday night of getting into that Airbnb was the Real World of Dave Matthews Band Saratoga weekend. Because we had people coming from Pennsylvania, from New Hampshire, all over, not knowing who each other was.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at each other Saturday afternoon, and we all became the best of friends from that
I
one
love
night.
that.
And we all ended up hanging. We all had like seats and lawn Saturday night. But what happened Saturday night? We all ended up hanging on lawn for the entire show together as a group and just chilling on lawn together and dancing and singing with each other and having a grand old time. And we look at each other Sunday and we're like, let's do this next year. Like, let's do this every year now. So we called that the real world of Saratoga weekend. I'm still friendly with almost 4 or 5 of them. And to this day, we still like see what shows everyone's going to and things like that. And it's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've basically summed up the whole reason why I'm doing this podcast is because the fans behind this band are incredible. The things that I hear, just like that story, incredible. These things are not really happening with other bands and other concerts. And if they are, please let me know.
I told my mom the story. She goes, only you would do something crazy as that. Get into a house with strangers. Was everyone safe? Was everyone cool? You don't know how cool it was to be with other Dave fans coming back after the show on a Friday night.
Yes. Well, I am just, first of all, so thankful that you are willing to tell me all of your fun stories. And again, this is what this podcast is about, is just the space between.
She's trying to think of something.
I mean, I was trying to think of anything else. And then I was like, basically, this is the space between where fans come on to share these stories. And we know that the people that are listening to this also have their own stories and appreciate your story because it's completely different than theirs. And so there are thousands of stories that are yet to be told. We know that Dave jokingly says that there are 35,000 fans of Dave Matthews Band and that we just all go to every concert, which we know is not true because here I am sitting here in Arkansas. Well, we'll see what happens this year. Everyone is saying.
Well, no, there's gonna.
I think I'm saying there's not a fall tour this year.
The rumors are true. There's no fall tour because Jeff is touring with Flecktones. And apparently a lot of the fans are going to be going to the New York City show when Jeff does his Flecktones show.
That'll be fun.
So what I'm hearing is there are groups getting organized to go to the Flecktones show because he's doing a holiday show with Bella Fleck and the Flecktones for the original members of the Flecktones.
And you know what, though? I have to say that these boys have been hitting it. They've been on a full-on marathon for a very long time without any long breaks. So these guys deserve some time off. And even though Jeff's going to go play something else, maybe that is like a mental break from what comes with being part of Dave Matthews Band, because it comes with a lot of stuff, right? It's got to be nice to have a mental break to just be like, just gonna chill for a little bit and like plan the future. Hopefully they're planning the future.
It's a lot, and hopefully, you never know. Maybe next year they'll cut down, and we also, another big part of my community that I am a moderator on is called this DMB Couch Tour.
Hey,
I'm a moderator on the DMB Couch Tour.
We love the Couch Tour, and we're so thankful as fans for that because
so I want to give them a little shout out too, because if you guys ever
be on the show. Be on the show. We want to hear how it started. Please.
So if you're on Facebook, we are on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook, DMB Couch Tour, and answer our questions, please do answer the questions. We do ask you that you answer the questions so that we know you are a true fan and not some person just trying to join the streams. These are actually people that know about the Couch Tour. These are actually people that stream from their phones for the generous of all the Dave community who cannot make it to that show and let us watch and hear the Dave show. So we let them stream. It is a chance for you, if you're a Dave fan who don't get to go to the shows, go on Facebook, go to the Couch Tour, fill out that questionnaire, and you can get to see some more Dave shows that you normally don't get to see. Whether if you go to 1 or 2 shows and you're like, all right, I want to see more shows, but I can't afford. So we do have people in our Dave community who do stream the shows and, are nice enough to say, hey, I need to stream the show. Can you approve me? Yeah, I'll approve you. And they stream the show for them. And we're very thankful and grateful for these people in our community who do this for us. So we get to experience it for like when he plays at the Gorge, and I don't get to go to the Gorge. I get to see the Gorge live in person from the show. I get to see the show. Right. So you get to see what the set list is like. See the energy. And it's just like, we also find the chat very fun because you usually get about 600 to 700 people on the chat throughout the night, chatting away. Hey, Renae, good to see you on the chat. Like that type of stuff. and it's fun. It's like you're at a show, but you're sitting at your home in the comfort of your house on your couch, whether you be outside on your front lawn on your patio chairs, watching wherever you are in your bed or something, watching it and being able to stream it and enjoy the Dave Show without being there.
It's amazing. I'm a big fan. I use it pretty much every show that I'm not at, unless I'm somewhere that I can't. But then even sometimes just still have it pulled up, but like very quietly, like I'm paying attention.
One time I was actually I was actually at an event shooting an event, and I knew it was a Dave Show. I had it in my pocket. I had my they were playing that music, so I had my earphones on, I had my earplugs, my little earbuds on, and it was very low sounding. And I was starting to talk to my clients, talk to the bridal party, and in the background I could hear it was Dave at the show from my phone, and I'm in my own little dancing world, and my bride goes, "What are you so happy and dancing?" I'm like, see this little thing over here? This is the Dave Show that I was going to be at if I wasn't working your wedding. And she goes, "What's this? Couch tour?" I'm like, so I explained the couch tour. She's like, "Interesting, very interesting." And so she made a joke to me. She's like, "Man, you are a really true fan. You cannot go 2 seconds without listening to those guys." I was like, "Yeah, kind of, because I was going to be at the show if I wasn't working your wedding." So there you go.
Right. It's so good. We love the couch tour. Thank you for being a moderator. I can't even imagine how much work has to go into that. I can't thank you enough for being the first guest of season 8.
That's the prize. I love it. This was so much fun for me. You have no idea, my friend. As I put it to my friend's like, "Oh, do you want to go golfing? It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be 75, nice and cool, not too hot, not too cold, perfect temperature." I'm like, no, I have something to do. He goes, "What do you have to do that's not important?" Because we like to golf together whenever it's like this temperature out in New York.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's like, "What do you have to do?" I was like, I've been dying to do for the last week. I go, "I'm going to record a podcast." He goes, "What kind of podcast? Is this one of your photography?" Because he knows I talk to other photographers on their podcasts so often. He's like, "Is this one of your photography?" I'm like, no. This is about my love and passion for Dave Matthews Band. He goes, "Oh no, I am not looking forward to this one. I will go play. You tell me how it is. I will listen to it. Make sure to listen to it."
Thanks for listening.
Josh, if you're listening to this after
Josh, what's up, Josh? I hope you played a great round of golf.
But he goes, "You and your Dave world, I can't deal with it."
This whole thing is awesome, and I'm so glad that I am alive at this time, where we get to do this, because like we discussed earlier, it won't be here forever. So I'm just so thankful. I'm so grateful to be part of this community, to be around when this band is still performing. And what a time to be alive. I'm super thankful.
Yes, I mean, hopefully they're good for another 10, 15 years, but I'm just happy, if it wasn't, I don't think for Dave, I wouldn't have half the friends that I have to this day. I mean, I probably have only a group of friends from high school or my summer camp or my hometown that I've known that I go to 1 or 2 concerts. Oh, hey, cool, like I know you. But if it wasn't for, I would say for Dave's community and going to these shows and getting out there and meeting people, like I'm an outgoing person. I'll meet anybody. But if it wasn't for me, hey, let's talk about Dave here for hours upon hours and going to these shows, I don't think I'd have half the. I'd be going a lot more solo shows than I thought. Ever since that one year, 2018 or 19, right before COVID, where I became friends with somebody, I realized this is actually pretty fun becoming friends with a Dave person and staying friends and starting to talk.
That is so exciting. Well, guys, we are going to wrap up this episode. If you are listening to this and you're thinking, wow, I really would like to document my journey with Dave Matthews Band, and yours doesn't have to be anything like David. I promise if you listen to enough episodes of this podcast, you're going to realize that everybody has their own. I meet so many people that go, "I don't have a story." You couldn't be more wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. And David, just so that everyone, because this is another fear, I don't know Renae. Am I going to be able to talk to her? David, what did you think about talking to me?
It was like we were already friends.
Yes, because we love Dave.
Because we loved it. It was like 2 friends just getting on a FaceTime call and catching up after going to 12 different concerts of different bands and just chatting away. It was very simple and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I'm so glad that you had fun. And so if you're thinking about it, if you're a little nervous, that's okay. And the beauty of this is it is not live. It is recorded. We edit it to sound beautiful. There you go, baby. Like whatever you need to do to make your anxiety go down a little bit. Let's do it. Drop me a message, email me. I have a new email, and this is like the official. It's Renae at the space between podcast dmb.com. We're going to wrap up the first episode of season 8. This is an exciting thing. I have a lot of exciting things that's going to be part of season 8. Guys, stay tuned. We have a lot of fun things coming up. Summer is not over. We still have so many shows ahead of us and so many fans that have signed up already to share their journey. So all good things on their way. So if you are on social media, please follow me on Facebook. It's simply under the space between podcast, Instagram, the space between _pod, TikTok, the space between podcast. And remember, my new email is Renae at the space between podcast, dmb.com. So reach out to me if you're interested or if you have more questions. David, you nailed it. You did a great job.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.
See you guys soon. Bye.